Oh, we're heading up quickly to 7 o'clock. Good to have you with us this Monday morning. Now, gender investing can provide some of the best returns. That's the view of the 2X Challenge. You'll remember, of course, launched back at the G7 summit in 2018. It encourages the private sector to invest in the world's women. They make up more than half the population in South Africa and account for over 43% of the workforce. But here's the problem. Women remain underrepresented in positions of authority and power. Our research has shown that women in leadership provide more support to teams and improve financial performance. So why are we so bad at this? Let's find out with Environmental, Social and Governance Officer at Spear Capital, Bronwyn Douglas, joining us this morning. Hello to you, Bronwyn. So why do we not get this right in South Africa? Good morning.
Good morning. So I think in South Africa we have a great challenge in trying to employ women into the workplace based on location of women where they reside predominantly and education, of course. This is also due to a legacy of employing males into the workforce, and it's something that we need to change.
How do we begin going about changing that? Where's the starting point?
Well, for us at Spear Capital, it starts right at the beginning of our investment life cycle. And what we do is we screen businesses right from the beginning before pre-investment stages to identify exactly what the opportunity exists, where the opportunity exists for increasing women representation in the business. It's a long-term program. It doesn't end there. It's actually taking the business, walking with the business through their life cycle, right from investment through to closure and to management, and working with the teams to actually employ more women and get more board representation, senior management representation, and if possible, producing products and services that are geared and aimed towards women.
I suppose the issue of patriarchy in our corporates is always going to be an issue, isn't it? What you've essentially got in most cases, I've heard this argument before, Bronwyn, tell me if you agree, is that you've got a bunch of men sitting at the executive level trying to make decisions around what to do with women in the workforce. But the problem is there aren't any women at the executive level to help with those decisions.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And this is where Spear Capital is differentiating itself. When we start to look at a business for investment, we actually develop term sheets and post-closure plans. And within those, we set objectives and targets for board representation right from the start when we have a say at the negotiation stage.
I suppose there could be critics of this, Bronwyn, that could turn around and say the way it's being framed, that in order to improve your bottom line is to get more women involved in your company. That shouldn't be the incentive. The incentive should be that it's the right thing to do. What do you tell those critics?
That's a tough one. So I think it's about a decision that has to be taken by the company to actually go forward with this agenda. I also feel that those critics haven't necessarily felt the improved returns necessarily, or the improved culture within the organisation that comes with having more women in organisations. I think it's old school versus new school in this case, and change is always a hard thing to do.
So we can talk about corporate culture till the end of the world, but I suppose the question has to be asked, Bronwyn, as I say goodbye to you, do we need more stringent laws to enforce this? If corporates don't listen, you hit them where it hurts.
I don't know if we need more laws, but they would help, I suppose. I think we are inundated with the legal framework as it is, and I think if for it to work, I think it has to be something that the company wants to own and invest in. Sometimes when we bring in more laws to change things, there's opposition right from the get-go. I would say that it needs to be something that is more talked about. Women need to lead the charge with this. Women in power already need to become role models and mentors for other women to see what can be achieved. I think that's where we need to start.
Yeah, that's a good answer, that last one. I appreciate it. Bronwyn Douglas, thank you very much. ESG Officer at Spear Capital. I was wondering what ESG stands for. Environmental, Social and Governance Officer. I don't want to get social and socialist mixed up, do you? Bronwyn Douglas joining us from Spear Capital this morning. Bronwyn, I appreciate that.